Hey, Canadian Working Holidaymakers! Here's 3 top expenses to include on your Canadian tax return. If you've earned over the tax-free allowance, $11,809 for 2018, then you may be able to claim the cost of certain expenses to reduce your overall tax liability. If you want to use these expenses to lower your tax liability, you will need to ensure that you have the proper documentation for each cost, so it's important to retain all relevant receipts. Usually for an expense to be eligible, it must meet 2 conditions. 1. Your employment contract requires you to pay the expenses, and 2. You don't receive an allowance to pay the costs, or if you do receive an allowance, your employer adds it to your total income. With this in mind, here are 3 top expenses to include on your Canadian tax return. 1. Medical expenses. You can claim medical expenses paid for yourself, your spouse or common law partner, and certain related persons. Examples of eligible medical expenses include doctor consultations, nurses' fees, prescription drugs and medications, costs related to the purchase of gluten-free food for celiac, orthodontic work, and more. The total eligible medical expense should be reduced by 3% of your net income, or $2,268, whichever is less. The tax credit is then 15% of the amount remaining. 2. Public transport. You may be able to claim the cost of monthly or yearly transit passes within Canada. For the 2018 tax year, it's important to note that the CRA have only approved costs for monthly public transit passes made before July 2017. The cost of shorter passes can also be an eligible deduction as long as they allow you to have unlimited travel for at least 5 consecutive days and you have sufficient passes for unlimited travel for at least 20 days within a 28-day period. 3. Moving expenses. If you move from one location to another in Canada, you may be able to claim moving expenses on that year's return. You must have started a job or carried out a business at your new location, and the new place must be at least 40 kilometres closer to your employment. That completes our list of 3 top expenses to include on your Canadian tax return. Don't forget to file your return and pay your tax liability by April 30th. To file your return the easy way, visit taxback.com today.